The man picks up a human baby on his doorstep. Unexpectedly, this is the woman he killed hundreds of times, just because she has black hair and red pupils like the Demon King. Everyone here is curious about her. Even if she changes a diaper, everyone has to fight to be the first to watch. But the more the baby moved back, the closer the two perverts moved forward. But when he touched her little hand, the man was startled first. Why are the baby's little hands so soft? It turns out that every time she dies, she will be younger after reincarnation, as a guardian of the world, after she was defeated by the Demon King's army 999 times. For the 1000th time, she was reborn as a baby, and landed on the enemy's doorstep. But this time he's just in time. She could kill him right away without him being prepared. The next moment Bliss was suddenly picked up by a man. What lackadaisical person threw this on my doorstep? The man said. Bliss struggled hard, and she was just about to open her mouth to curse angrily. But when she opens her mouth, it's Abba, Abba, Abba. The little thing is amazing. It looks exactly like our Duke. The man said. She didn't know what nonsense this guy was talking about. Bliss wanted to tilt her head to express her doubt, but her head is too heavy to stand up. It was only then that Bliss realized something was wrong with her body. Why are her hands so small? And this place looks familiar. Behan's words suddenly interrupted her thoughts. Are all you human babies this cute? Hearing the word baby, Bliss froze instantly. Behan excitedly took the soft thing and brought her back to the Duke's court. Her shame reached its peak. The great Bliss. I can't believe I'm being carried around like a burden. When Behan saw the butler coming out to greet him, he couldn't wait to pick up the baby. Look, baby. The blood-red pupils and dazzling black hair of this. It's almost exactly like the Duke. After showing her off to the butler, Behan wanted to bring her to the Duke. Hearing the name of the Demon King, Bliss immediately felt like she was facing a formidable enemy. Including Behan, the 5 of them formed the Black Sea Sword, and had been guarding that guy. And in this life, it would take her at least 10 years to fully regain her power. If she meets these demons in advance, her life ended before it began. Besides, if she died again, she might just turn into a fertilized egg when she was reborn next time. In the midst of resistance and struggle, out of baby instinct, she grabbed the housekeeper's finger. The soft touch makes the housekeeper's heart melt with adorableness. It's an amazing feeling, the butler nervously bragged to Behan. You see, she grabbed my finger. Behan immediately got jealous when he saw this. Why does she only grab your fingers? I also want her to grab my fingers. Watching 2 grown men fight over it, she guessed. Does this method work? She smoothly grabbed Behan's fingers. Maybe if she behaves, they won't kill her. Behan was moved like a child and immediately showed off to the housekeeper. When she thought of the way this man looked so perverted when he tortured and killed her, and now look at the idiotic look of this man in front of her, Bliss was speechless. This Behan is just an idiot. How did she get killed by a guy like that? Behan ignored the butler's obstruction, forcibly taking her to meet the Duke, who was taking a bath. But the first thing they saw was not the Duke. It's Warren, one of the swords of the Black Sea. In Bliss' mind, he's no different than Behan. This is the same guy who ended her life in her last life. The feeling she felt at that time is still fresh in her mind. This guy's a tough nut to crack. While she was distressed, she suddenly saw Warren smiling. Stupid Behan suddenly asked her to perform finger grabbing again. In order to buy this guy, Bliss resolutely held his finger. See the cute little thing? Warren's heart suddenly softened, and he wanted to be grabbed by her hand too. Behan shows off again. She looks exactly like the Duke. Hearing these words, Bliss couldn't help but mentally spit at them for being blind. But when she saw her face in the glass, she was suddenly struck dumb. Who the hell is this? The door was opened again. He's the Duke of the Empire and the King of the Demon World, and the man responsible for destroying the world thousands of times, Lucica. He looked at the baby and asked, what is this? Behan thought he was playing dumb. He showed off the baby to him hurriedly. Did you have a baby in secret? Duke, you really are an idiot for being able to say something so emotionless. Behan. Bliss mentally spat. What if it provokes him to kill me? However, the Demon King ignored him and passed by them directly. Then he ordered Behan to throw the baby away. How can you throw it away? It's cold out there, said Behan. If we throw her out, she won't live through the night for sure. Bliss was right. The Demon King is a complete madman. He has no sympathy for the poor little baby. What an arrogant guy. The Demon King is nothing special. Bliss angrily stretched out her hand and wanted to strangle him to death. But in the eyes of a few of them, she was just being cute. Even the ever-aloof Lucica looked stunned. Warren translated in all seriousness. It seems like she wants you to cuddle. The next moment, a big hand comes at her. Please don't be reborn as a fertilized egg in the next life, Bliss prayed in her heart. Unexpectedly, Lucica hugged her steadily. The moment hold the little one in his arms. Lucica immediately retracted what he had just said. He even wants to keep her in the Duke's mansion. What's going on? Because of this man, her life and happiness have been shattered countless times. But why does he look at her with such loving eyes? The man gave her a new name. From now on, you will be called Eleanor. When she opened her eyes again and woke up, the maids rushed over to surround her. Damn rebirth, is it because the smaller the body the weaker the constitution? She gets sleepy when she's a little nervous. Seeing this, the wet nurse quickly asked everyone to get out. After that she looked over at Ellie and smiled slightly. Greetings Lord Eleanor. My name is Masha. Let's live in peace in the days ahead. She stroked Ellie's head gently. The warmth of her palm gradually melts into Ellie's heart. Ellie finally felt a little warmth. Usually, whenever a child is brought to the Duke's mansion, he or she will be sent to the training center immediately. There are orphans living there who have nowhere else to go. From Nduki age, they have to go through all kinds of brutal training. They ended up being Lysica's human weapon, but if they fail to meet the requirements, they will be kicked out of the training center or killed. Martha promised to raise her beautifully. In this way, the Duke might not be willing to let her go to the training center. Ellie was puzzled. They'd just met in passing. It wasn't like she was her child, so why did she have to give to that extent? A week went by quickly. Ellie only sleeps and looks at the dolls in a daze. This is simply a waste of time. She had to kill that guy as soon as possible. Ellie tries to use magic power. First, she had to observe the situation inside the mansion. The 1,000 miles pupils allows her to see far away even if she is still standing still. That way she can find out Lysica's secret. She closed her eyes and activated the 1,000 miles pupils. However, just as the power was activated, suddenly there was the sound of a door opening. Why is Warren here? Why does he keep staring at me? Did he sense who I was? She watched Warren reach out to her. Sure enough, this guy can easily poke through my neck with just one finger. Then I'll at least break his fingers before I die. Ellie thought to herself. She gathered her power in her palms and launched her attack ahead of Warren. Unexpectedly, she tried her best, but she could only grab the other party's fingers and turn over. Damn it, am I going to die like this? But why does this guy look so satisfied? Was he frightened by the strength of my grip? Ellie's hands continued to add force. But even if she just exerted force with her fingers, she exhausted all her energy and fell into a deep sleep. After satisfying his desire to hold fingers, Warren left the room. He's finally sure of one thing. Maybe it's because Ellie looks like the Duke, so he couldn't treat her like other children. And could it be that the Duke made such an exception because he liked her? Just as Warren was lost in thought, the Duke's voice instantly snapped him out of it. Answer my question. Where have you been? At this moment, Warren, who was in a daze, came back to his senses. Sorry, I just went to see Eleanor. The Duke remained vigilant. Then how do you prove that this is not a trick of Kaeha? It seems he was careless this time. After all, Kaeha is a threat to the Duke, and the child who appeared out of nowhere could be one of Kaeha's spies. The name Eleanor also means to dominate, but that idiot Bihan didn't think of that at all. He actually ran off to find Ellie to ride horses with him. But Ellie is too young, said Martha. Is next week okay, then? Asked Bihan. No, said Martha. Then next year? Bihan continued to ask. Look what an idiot this is. Ellie can't listen to this anymore. She's got her hands up in the air. She wants to go to the bathroom. She pronunciation thrilled Martha. Our Lord Ellie is so smart. But please don't grow up so fast. I really want to change your diapers for the rest of your life. Though she know Martha loves her, but she can't let her enemies see her bare ass. Martha had just gone to the warehouse to pick up new diapers. When someone knocked on the door, Ellie was thinking about who it was. And that's when she saw Bar and Michaela. Ellie suddenly fell into panic. The scene where she was tortured and killed by them is still fresh in her memory. Each time they tortured her until she despaired and then ended her life. Bar kept moving forward and said, "It's true. She looks exactly like the Duke." Ellie was trembling with fear. Could she be dying again? Michaela rushed to stop Bar. Unexpectedly, this guy would not only refuse to listen to advice, but he even stretched out his hand to her. Ellie thought something bad was going to happen. Her arm was going to be ripped off. Unexpectedly, Bar was so frightened that his hand immediately popped back up and said, "Why is she so soft? Are all babies like this? Do all babies drool?" Oops, embarrassed. Ellie wiped the drool from her mouth. With just one move, Michaela realized that she could understand the conversation, saying, "This kind of child seems to be called a genius." Bar got interested and let Ellie grab his axe and chop off head for fun. Ellie giggled like a baby. Are all the people of the Sword of the Black Sea such fools? She thought to herself. Michaela couldn't help but tense up. Ellie had smiled like that with the Duke's face. A bold proposal popped into his head. Let me adopt her. She's so cute. Bar demolished him mercilessly. Have you ever successfully raised anything? But this guy doesn't care about Ellie's feelings. Take the baby in his arms and going to take it away. Bar advised him to calm down. This is the Duke's child. The man grunted and said, I don't think the Duke cares much for her. But the Duke gave her a name. Bar said, that is indeed suspicious. I have heard that she may be a spy sent by Kaeha. Maybe when she grows up cute, she will bewitch the Duke's heart, and then drive the knife into the Duke's heart. Michaela guessed. Ellie had to admire Michaela's keen intuition. Luckily, Bar was quick to snatch her away, saying, cut the crap, you punk. All you do is kill and you haven't raised anything. It is well known that you have only ever raised man-eating plants. But can children be the same as plants? The two of them were talking to each other, and what they said was very outrageous. Just as Bar was about to go to the Duke and tell him that he wanted to adopt Ellie, the captain of the Black Sea Sword appeared. With his brilliant mind, Custer has hindered her actions in every life of her. The thought that Custer might well perceive her identity. Ellie watched his every move closely. Suddenly she smelled a sweet scent. Is this the smell of a new type of poison? The man took his hand out of his sleeve. Did he figure out I was an enemy so quickly? Ellie wondered in her heart, only to have a piece of chocolate shoved into her mouth in the next second. Ellie's eyes lit up at once. It was a nobleman's dessert. It was the chocolate that she had only eaten a few times after being reborn countless times. Seeing Ellie babbling and reaching out her little hand, Custer took her in his arms. Without realizing it, she pulled on Custer's hair. The other two rushed to excuse her. "Captain, she's young. That's why she makes mistakes." Although Ellie was embarrassed about pulling her hair, it was the only way she could express her desire for chocolate. Soon Martha returned with new diapers. The next piece of chocolate just hit Ellie's mouth. Martha immediately ran over and said, "Lord Custer, no. Can you wait until Lord Eleanor is older before feeding her?" "But she's holding on tight. Don't you see?" said Custer. "Babies aren't allowed to eat chocolate," said Martha. In desperation, the man handed Ellie to the nursemaid. "I wouldn't dare hurt the Duke's things. You'll have to take good care of her. If this child grows up to harbor ill will towards the Duke, I will kill you along with her." Seeing Ellie frowning, the nanny told her, "Don't worry too much. I will definitely protect you." In past memories, Ellie envied children with moms. "I might be sad if anything happened to you," said Martha. At the same time, the extremely perceptive Custer realized that Ellie had the scent of magic on her body. Do humans who can hide their magic really exist? If there is any unusual behavior from her, she is to be killed immediately. Custer reported the matter to the Duke. If Ellie grows up like this, she'll become the Duke's most powerful weapon, the cornerstone for the Duke to step into the God's domain. Upon hearing this, Lysica got up and went to see the little one. Meanwhile, Ellie falls into a dream. Looking at her unreachable lover, her longing reached its peak at this moment. "In this life, you probably don't even know that I exist, right?" The heart-wrenching pain caused by the regret of death made Ellie cry sadly. The maids were in a hurry, and Nanny thought she was hungry. She patted the baby's body soothingly. The maids didn't forget to compliment. "Even the way her cry looks so good. I guess she will become the most dazzling beauty in the whole continent. Men from all over the world will definitely compete to propose to her." Soon Ellie stopped crying. She was still a little embarrassed. The next moment, the cozy scene was broken by an unexpected visitor. "I think I only appointed one person to take care of her. Because she is master's children, they unconsciously spend more time on Ellie," the nanny replied. But that one comment annoyed Lysica, who said angrily, "You guys think that's my kid?" The maids didn't dare look up. They promised it would never happen again. Lysica's harsh tone with her subordinates brought back unpleasant memories for Ellie. She doesn't understand why the Demon King tortures humans. Out of baby instinct, Ellie bawled her eyes out. Although the wet nurse tried her best to comfort her, the crying did not stop. "It's so noisy. Why is she crying?" However, the nanny didn't know why Ellie was crying. As her exclusive nursemaid, "You're a bit neglectful of your duties, useless people." Seeing that Nanny was in danger, Ellie anxiously held out her hand in protest. "You assholes, stop bullying us." The little cutie was slurring her words and yelling. Lysica's voice suddenly became soft. "What did she just call me?" Martha lowered her head and explained. "She seemed to call you Dad." Lysica looked at her as if she were an unknown creature. The air was silent, and all that could be heard was the clock ticking. Lysica held out her hand toward her, but little Ellie was angry now. "You bad guy, take a slap from me. Will it hurt? I'm going to smash your hand." Hearing Lysica ask what she meant by this, Ellie immediately increased her strength. "Tell him quickly that I'm educating this arrogant fellow." In Martha's eyes, however, it was as if she wanted you to play with her. Lysica thought for a moment and took the little thing's hand at Martha's direction. The nanny was so scared that she quickly reminded him, "If you hold on so tightly, her bones will break." "So what do I do?" Lysica asked. The other two maids looked at each other. "Would you mind giving Lord Eleanor a hug? Babies need their parents' love." What the hell is going on? Have these guys lost their minds? Even Custer egged it on from the sidelines. "I've hugged her too. It feels good to be soft." Ellie seizes the time trying to break free. "I will protect my body myself." Who expected Lysica to reach out with his big hands and hold her tightly in his arms directly. "Damn it, get off me if you know what's good for you." Ellie's little hands hit the Demon King, making a snapping sound. "And what does she mean by that?" the maid said. "This means that Lord Ellie is very happy." Lysica stared at the little hand and murmured, "It's kind of cute." The maid gave a surprised ah. After reacting, the man immediately said it was okay. A somewhat tired Ellie drifted off to sleep. The maids were about to go out when they froze the moment they turned their heads. The Demon King, who had always been cold-blooded and brutal, revealed a gentle smile. But even if the Demon King knew she wasn't his own daughter, he also gave her the status and power above all others. He even admitted in front of everyone that Ellie was his only baby girl. Ellie, who had been killed by him thousands of times, was disgusted by the disgusting old dad in front of her. She struggled to get out of the big hands. Outsiders can tell that she is in pain, but Lysica was smugly showing off. Ellie's behavior means she likes him. His daughter loves him so much. What a sweet trouble. Ellie laughed angrily at his words. How can the Demon King be so ridiculous? Returning to her senses, Ellie realized that a large hand was reaching out. Ellie vigilantly stopped this behavior that was not good for her. She didn't know that this was just a little trick by the demons to get jealous. Warren's mouth curled up in a smug smile. Bihan also said that he wanted Ellie to hold his finger. Seeing her baby daughter being snatched back and forth by them, Lysica used her eyes as a warning. After Warren wisely withdrew his hand, Lysica immediately put his hand in front of Ellie and waved it. Ellie mentally cursed the Demon King to get lost, and the two sides were at a stalemate, until he held Ellie in his arms. Lucica just officially entered the topic. An old man suggested that they prepare for Princess Lena's birthday party in advance. When Ellie heard the word princess, she was stunned. Lena is the Emperor's only daughter and the cause of the end of the world. In order to check the Duke's power, the Emperor made the two men get married. But Princess Lena has been betraying Lucica from beginning to end. Ellie couldn't figure out why Lena betrayed her husband. After hearing that Lucica asked someone to randomly pick a gemstone from the warehouse as a gift, no wonder she betrayed, Ellie mentally spat out. The Duke's perfunctory attitude led the old man to believe that Ellie had distracted the Duke. He requested that the child be sent back to her room. The one who dared to question the Demon King's decision was Rokarden, the most loyal and active of Lucas' retainers. This wise strategist that even the Emperor wanted to recruit is just an old man in the eyes of the Sword of the Black Sea. Bihan warned sternly, "The Duke's daughter is entitled to attend the meeting." But the old man looked disdainful. "Even so, she is just a little kid. What can she understand?" This comment completely annoyed Michaela, who said angrily, "Watch your words, old man. You are old and deaf. Do you think you have lived too long?" Till, who was calmer than everyone else, said, "What exactly are you dissatisfied with, Ellie?" Roden was immediately energized. An unidentified child should never be the Duke's daughter. The paltry reasoning made Till snort. "You are just an ant. You should know what will happen if you disobey the Duke's will, right?" Ellie never thought in her life that guarding the world 999 times all end in failure. Now she saves the world with just a hug. As soon as they heard that the old man was going to throw Ellie out, the demons immediately had murderous intentions. But this is not good. If no one from the Duke's faction can make strategic arrangements, then she will also be in danger. Roden, who was tactful, changed the subject to the land of Rohan. In order to maintain a friendly relationship with the royal family, they can start by pleasing the princess. But the princess is known for her fussy nature, and ordinary gifts won't meet her eye. The old man wants the Duke to go to the land of Rohan to treasure hunting, because it's an undeveloped area, might find something valuable there. Ellie glanced at the old man. He was very smart. In the previous life, it's the Duke of Connaught's family was favored by the royal family. Yet Till found it absurd to let the Duke himself go to a place like that. "It seems you're really senile." Seeing this, Ellie panicked and climbed onto the table, crawling over to Till and wrapping her arms around him. "Don't kill him yet. Calm down and think about it." She's trying as hard as she can to calm him down. The next moment, Till's grim expression made Ellie smell death. "It's over. Goodbye, world. Next rebirth will be a fertilized egg, I guess." Ellie thought to herself. Till, however, suddenly exclaimed, "Oh my God." After hearing this, Ellie secretly opened one eye, discovering that Till had tears coming to his eyes with a sob. "I can't believe you hugged me. I'm crawling over here with all your might to hug me. Do you like me so much?" "I am so flattered." As soon as the words left his mouth, the temperature around him instantly dropped 90 degrees. "That was a blocking maneuver. My daughter didn't hug you. She just got scared," Lucica said angrily. Till apologized in shock. "I'm sorry. I crossed the line." Ellie doesn't have time for these two idiots. This opportunity must not be given to other families, because she always feels that this rebirth is her last rebirth. She was about to say to Lucica, "Dad, take over the land of Rohan." But when she opens his mouth, it turns into Luha boy, ba. The cold-faced devil suddenly became extremely shy and misunderstood her meaning as "dad is the best." Ellie was stunned. What a fucking translation. Roden, who seemed to have understood, immediately explained, "Miss seems to be asking us to take the land of Rohan." Lucica, who looked miserable, said with difficulty, "I will find out the truth. Let's change places first." They came to the office. Ellie clumsily picked up a pen and scribbled her thoughts on a piece of paper. "The land of Rohan has many rare treasures. Giving it to the princess will only benefit us." She mentally spat as she wrote, "Are these idiots as decorative? Why can't they understand human language?" The words on the paper are written crookedly, but Till and the others were stunned when they saw it. The baby who can't even speak well can write. Is this the legendary genius? The cold old father couldn't help but cover his mouth in exclamation. "My daughter is truly remarkable. Do you know what you mean when you write?" Ellie nodded affirmatively. To the side, Till was deep in thought. The young lady is smart, but how does she know these things? Ellie's heart skipped a beat for a moment. "My current strength is not enough to defeat them. Can't let them doubt me." At that thought, she immediately poked herself in the face with a pout. It seems that she can only act like a spoiled brat to divert their attention. This trick really works. The trio instantly felt as if they were struck by lightning. Warren quickly cast a spell and captured this scene. With a snap, a photograph appeared in Warren's hand. The old father gladly picked up the photo and examined it. "My daughter is too kawaii." Then they took a lot of photos of Ellie. In a matter of seconds, Ellie's photos were stacked in a thick pile. The ugly and cute look made Ellie shiver with anger. Sooner or later she will find a chance to tear up these ugly photos. At this point Till guessed that the reason Ellie knew this, maybe it's because she has the ability to predict dreams. Have these people not given up on this topic yet? Can they please stop exploring these issues? Ellie babbled in protest. Don't understand at all. We have to find a translator for her. They called in Ellie's nanny, Martha, to translate. But she could only tremble and say that she didn't understand all of Ellie's words too. According to previous habits, Lucica will definitely order Martha to be killed. But he unexpectedly said that the wet nurse is not omnipotent. The always ruthless Demon King actually showed his compassionate side. Ellie felt a little surprised. While she was being shocked by this, Till walked in with a smile. I brought this man. Ellie looked up suspiciously. A teenager was greeting Lucica in an unassuming manner. Hello, my name is Tiorka. What? It's actually him? Ellie was a little surprised. Of all those kids at the training center, Tiorka was the only one who hadn't betrayed Lucica. And he seems to have the ability to tame animals and understand what animals and babies are saying. If I win him over for my own use, defeating the Demon King will definitely be easier with less effort. A scheme took root in Ellie's mind. At this time, Till proudly introduced, this is the Duke's beloved daughter Ellie. Your job is to understand what she's saying. Teo saluted respectfully. I'll try. But a child's thoughts run wild. There may also be some bias in understanding. Till smiled confidently. Our lady is a genius who can even write. It was only through Teo's translation that everyone realized what Ellie had in mind. The land of Rohan not only has many precious minerals and gems, there are also various ethnic groups living. There are even dwarves who are good at manufacturing. After listening to Teo's words, Lucica's eyes suddenly burst with anger. How dare you use my daughter as an excuse to lie? As far as I know, the dwarves should have been extinct long ago. Lucica's keen insight sent a jolt through Ellie's mind. The dwarves were indeed exterminated 150 years ago. The few that remain are being held as slaves in underground prisons. Although Lucica's suspicions were justified, but Ellie was still pissed off. Didn't they say she was a genius? Now they don't believe her. These guys are really hateful. Listening to Ellie's exasperated words, a sense of inexplicable emotion rose in Teo's heart. He who came out of hell and the bright, beautiful, and intelligent Ellie are from two different worlds. He unconsciously clenched his fists at the thought. I crossed the line, and I will be a qualified translator in the future, said Teo. Sensing Teo's despondent mood, Ellie held out her soft little hand, then hugged Teo tightly. Teo, who was being held by a small baby for the first time, panicked at once. Unexpectedly, Ellie raised her extremely cute face and said, Teo, let's go for a walk in the garden. With me? Teo's voice was starting to stutter. Before Ellie nodded, Till suddenly lifted her up high. Ellie's bright, smiling face dropped. What a troublesome guy. Didn't you see that I was seducing my future helper? Seeing his baby girl in someone else's arms again. Flames seemed to erupt from Lucica's eyes. Bit by bit he squeezed a line through his teeth. Are you happy holding my daughter? Till instantly felt an eerie wind at his back. I was just trying to separate young lady from that guy. In order to prevent a fight between the two, Ellie started to act like a spoiled brat again. Let's not fight. To me, Dad's the best. Teo had the good sense to immediately translate. The lady says Daddy is the best. After hearing this, Lucica smiled happily. It seems that you are indeed very capable. He was in a good mood and then he remembered to question Teo. What did my daughter say just now while holding you? Looking at Lucica's scrutinizing expression, Teo spoke up apprehensively. Miss said she wanted to go play with me in the garden. As soon as the words left her mouth, Lucica's face instantly became gloomy. Cold eyes that wanted to eat Teo alive. You mean, my daughter made you an invitation for a date? For a moment the whole room was as cold as ice. Ellie's eyes widened in disbelief. What kind of brainwave are you in, big brother? I'm still a baby. Lucica is about to go crazy. Ellie had no choice but to make the ultimate move. If you don't let me hang out with Teo, I'll never call you dad again for the rest of my life. With that, she turned head gamely. Before you acted like you'd do everything according to me, it seems like it was all a lie. A thunderbolt instantly struck Lucica's head, and with it, a strong sense of loss. My baby daughter doesn't call me dad anymore. In order to please Ellie, the always ruthless Lucica finally compromised. Until sitting in the courtyard, Ellie felt a little unbelievable. She actually came out. Looking at the lovely Ellie, Teo thanked her sincerely. Thanks to you, miss, I have the chance to prove my worth. Ellie's clear eyes were full of doubt. Teo seemed happy. Didn't he want a chance to escape from here? But Teo says he's enjoying his life now. He doesn't want to go back to the days when he was trampled on. And then Ellie realized. No wonder he's so loyal to the Demon King. He even became a willing spy for the enemy, just when she was dazed. After regaining their emotions, Lucica and the others found them. They decided to listen to Ellie and take the land of Rohan. At the same time, it was announced that Teo was appointed as Ellie's exclusive assistant and personal guard. If anything happened to Ellie, he'd be dead. Teo saluted respectfully. I will swear to protect my lord with my life. From the moment he was brought back by Lucica, he was ready to sacrifice his life for his master. Ellie didn't expect things to go so smoothly. Her next task is to start by conquering the most loyal Teo. Here, this is for you to eat. Ellie hands over an orange smoothie. After taking a bite, Theo was so happy that he almost knelt down. Ellie's eyes were full of pride. Eat up, I can't tame you until you've had enough to eat. Teo started to say thanks with sincere eyes. Ever since he met Miss, everything seems to be going well. Not only did he get to eat delicious food, he also escaped from training camp and moved next door to Miss. Ayo, don't get too obsessed with me, Ellie said with a small wave of her hand. I will be your boss from now on. Eat different delicacies from mountains and seas every day. By the way, you haven't had any chocolate yet, have you? I'll get a chance to grab you a couple from Till. It's a fancy dessert that only the nobility can afford. The feeling of happiness instantly swept through Teo's body. How could he be so lucky to have the opportunity to serve the young lady? At this moment, Barbacha suddenly came over with a smile on his face. Yo, if it isn't our little Ellie treasure. I can't believe you're still so small after not seeing you for a few days. Why is he talking all the time? It's so noisy. Ellie wants him to get as far away as possible. Teo spoke awkwardly. Miss asked where you were going with this. Barbacha came instantly energized. Want to come with me to the training facility? There's a lot of kids fighting there. It's fun. What? The training center? Ellie's eyes instantly lit up. Most of the kids at the training center are very good. It's good to be on good terms with them in advance. Although she had prepared herself mentally in advance. But when she actually arrived at the training center, the scene in front of her still sent chills down her spine. Dilapidated buildings, damp and dark rooms. The training environment is so bad. Just when they were about to continue walking inside, a burst of noisy sounds suddenly came. It turns out one of the kids is sick. Barbacha spoke in an icy tone. Is that child broken? Looks like it needs to be thrown away. There are never any useless people in the training center. The companion was in a hurry to intercede on behalf of the girl. She just accidentally ingested a poisonous mushroom. As long as there is an antidote, she will get better. But Barbacha is like a dangerous venomous snake. Tell me another lie and I'll throw you out with it, he said. How could their food be poisonous? Ellie on the sidelines was stunned. Sure enough, she couldn't expect these guys to be compassionate. Screening out the strongest is all that matters to them. Can't let that girl just die, Ellie thought. Ellie allowed Teo to place her next to the girl, observing her closely and coming to a conclusion. The girl did eat poisonous mushrooms. After she raised her eyes to the remaining mushrooms in the corner, Ellie came to a realization. This poisonous mushroom was actually eaten by the girl herself. As long as she survives eating the poisonous mushrooms, her strength will increase significantly. In this cruel training camp, only by being strong can you have the capital to survive. At this moment Ellie is in a deep dilemma. She didn't want the girl to die innocently. But if she uses magic, she risks exposing herself. Forget it. Human life is more important than anything else. Saving the girl might be of use to her in the future. Ellie tried her best to hide her magical aura. She whispered the healing spell. Mamimamahambula. The girl who was originally convulsing miraculously recovered. Ellie skimmed Barbacha without moving her eyes. It seems he didn't notice she used magic. Then she warned Barbacha with an irritated look on her face. If you ever bully these kids again, I'm going to tell Lysica. At the same time, she reminded, the training center must be cleaned. Make the kids eat well or I won't like you. A comment that drove Barbacha mad for an instant. Fuck, I'm agreeing to this, okay? Please don't hate me. Ellie's mouth curled into a winning smile. It seems that threats can sometimes be more effective than pampering. Although Barbacha did not notice her abnormality, but Ellie was still a little anxious. Although she was already trying her best to hide her magical aura when she was rescuing people. But Teo was just too close to her. Did this guy even realize she had magic powers? He wouldn't secretly tell Lysica about it, would he? Just as Ellie was about to question Teo, the closed door of the room was suddenly and violently opened. She don't have to think about it to know it's those rude guys. Turns out Lysica heard Ellie had been taken to training camp. So he came to find Teo to ask for an explanation. He stared at Teo with an icy expression and said, Why didn't you stop, miss? How can she condescend to go to a place like that? Ellie, who was playing with her dolls, was furious. Why is this guy accusing innocent people again? She patted Teo on the shoulder. Please translate my words to him word for word. I love the training center and am going to play there more often. Lysica refused without even thinking about it after hearing that. You're not allowed to go. I don't like disobedient children. What? I'm not obedient. Ellie's eyes flashed with shrewdness. Then she showed a pair of big eyes like a doll. Try the power of my super cuteness skills. I heard that the training camp was established by Dad. I'm curious about the place Dad built. The sound of thunder instantly rolled through the minds of the three people. Lysica looked even more satisfied. So that's what my little treasure thinks. Hurry up and get the young lady a room at the training camp. The room should be decorated in the same style as here. Ellie froze. This old father turned out to be a daughter slave. Looks like she's one step closer to saving the world. She was just happy for a while. Lysica spoke again in a serious voice. Come, arrange a room for me too. It is natural for a father to live with his children. What? The crowd was surprised. Ellie wanted to kick Lysica out. How can I give love and peace to my children with this guy watching? In a flash Ellie said in panic. I just want to play with kids my own age. I won't stay long. With Ellie's insistence, She's finally won a 7-day solo trip to the training center. Phew, she finally fooled this guy. This week she's going to turn everything upside down. The first thing Ellie did when she came to camp. It's about changing the harsh rules of the camp. Sleeping a few extra hours a day while resting longer. Even the food changed from leftovers to chicken legs and elbows. In an instant, all the kids were rallying around Ellie. Lord Ellie, you are our god. Seeing that everything is going in the direction that she expected, Ellie couldn't help but smile in relief. To make everyone trust her more, she even got Teo to tell them, there will be no more random abandonment. Everyone, just relax and enjoy life. She moved the crowd to tears with her words. They haven't felt such warmth for a long time. At this time, the girl she had rescued before, Jeroen, came over to thank Ellie for saving their lives and for the favor she was doing them now. She took out a huge stone studded with gems and spoke. I don't have much to give away. Usually I like to collect all kinds of rocks. I hope you don't mind, miss. Ellie's eyes widened with excitement at the first sight of the stone. OMG. This is no ordinary rock. It's the egg of an immortal dragon with unlimited life. A visit to the training center would bring unexpected surprises. Just as everyone was thanking Ellie for her care, a disdainful voice suddenly rang out. Humph, what a bunch of idiots. Can't you see she's laughing at you guys? He not only taunted Ellie, but he even tried to do it. They're both homeless orphans. Why should they have to work so hard to fight in training camp? Ellie, on the other hand, gets to be treated like a Miss Duke. Look at the boy with the yellow hair. Ellie just remembered. He turned out to be Alec, from a fallen nobleman's family. You don't like ordinary things, right? Regardless of the other partner's attempts to stop him, he mocked even more fiercely. What kind of miss are you? Would a proper miss wear such shabby clothes? The little bastard's showing such obvious hostility. Looks like he hates himself. Even so, he's just a little kid, unable to bear it any longer. Teo stepped forward, apologized to the young lady. Alec turned his anger on Teo. It's amazing that you, whose archery skills are worse than mine, were chosen to be an auxiliary officer. It seems the young lady is no better than that. Ellie didn't take his words seriously at all. She asked Teo to tell him, if you're hungry, don't lose your temper and talk nicely. And then she took out her chocolate collection. Don't be mad, Alec, try some of this. Stop throwing tantrums and let's get along. Alec's look was in a trance for a moment. That's how his mom used to feed him chocolate. He still remembers that time vividly. He recognized it as chocolate. Ellie was delighted. This is for you, let's be good friends. She didn't know that Teo beside her was beginning to feel a little lost. The promise the lady made to him is now given to someone else. He twisted his head and relayed the baby talk to Alec. Miss asked you to eat. Ellie also sensed something was wrong with Teo. Alec refused decisively. He's not going to be bought off by this. It's childish. Then he quickly left the scene. The gift was not given away, so it seems she has to eat it herself. Back in her room, Ellie is thinking about how to hatch dinosaur eggs. Teo suddenly walked in with a cold face and spoke. The kids are all washed up and asleep. What's up with Teo? Why is he sounding cold today? Ellie's little head was filled with a great deal of doubt. Recalling the scene during the day when the chocolates were delivered, she realized then, you little brat is actually jealous. Let me see how I conquer you. Geez, Teo, you're really too. Tell me when you feel. With that she picked up her bag and pulled a whole box of chocolates out of it. As my personal auxiliary officer, your chocolates are naturally the most expensive and the finest. These chocolates are the ones she snatched from Till 2 days ago. Till was so distressed that he cried. This must be the best chocolate. All the gloom in Teo's heart was swept away at this moment. It turns out that the young lady has never forgotten the promise she made to him. At this point, Ellie's still trying to make empty promise to him. When I grow up, I'll pick out a better gift for you. So you must be good and stay by my side. A strange emotion rippled through Teo's mind. He will definitely protect the lady with his life. Meanwhile, on the other side, Ellie's old father was upset after not seeing her for a few days. His delicate fingers were tapping on the table. What to do? I want to see my daughter. He read the letter Ellie wrote to him so many times that the paper was almost torn. Is there any way to get more detailed recent information about Ellie? Come, call Till over to me, Lucica said. He's the captain. He must know what's going on at training camp. Till was pulled out of bed in the middle of the night. Till hadn't even come out of his slumber, and in his little yellow duck suit came. After reading Ellie's letter, Till then reported back in a nutshell. The young lady has suggested many improvements to me. For example, providing children with rest time. As a result, their strength has improved significantly. There are even far fewer children who are sick and need to be thrown away. Gotta say Ellie sure is smart. Has the potential to be a leader. Hearing Till praise his daughter so, the old father looked pleased, as expected of my little treasure. Then they remembered that the next day was the day of Ellie's welcoming ceremony. Till was very considerate. How about giving the lady a pair of my same style chick slippers? Wouldn't this be a little too childish? Lucica was outwardly disgusted. In his mind, he could not help but imagine Ellie in a chicken suit. He can't wait till tomorrow. Soon Ellie's existence was known to all. Countless people sent high-end gifts to the Brandt family. Ellie also tied her hair into a beautiful double ponytail. She is getting more and more beautiful now. but Lucica always felt like something was missing. That day Duke Carlos came to visit with his daughter. Look at the girl's pretty little red dress. He then remembered that his baby girl was missing a pretty dress, so he quickly bought back all the high-end skirts. Under the dressing of several adults, Ellie ended up being dressed up like a doll. Her lovely, delicate appearance brought a smile of satisfaction to Lucica's face. Even Teo was awestruck and couldn't take his eyes off of her. But the person involved, Ellie, was extremely unhappy. Do they treat me like a doll? These old men are a pain in the ass. Just as the crowd was admiring Ellie's beauty, Ness, the butler, suddenly walked in. He spoke. The Emperor's emissary will be here soon. Lucica sighed inwardly. Can we not meet with the emissary? I haven't seen enough of my baby girl. She was afraid that Lucica would run away in the next second. Ellie raised her hand anxiously. I want to go with you too. It's a big part of saving the world. But things aren't going so well. The messenger's mouth was dry from talking on the sidelines. Lucica, however, was teasing Ellie with an obsessive look on her face. Can this bastard listen to what others are saying? Exasperated, Ellie grabbed his fidgeting fingers in one hand, said, be more honest. But she didn't expect Lucica to be full of smiles. I didn't expect my daughter to still keep her childhood habits at this age. At that thought he suddenly called out to Till. I always feel like there's something missing upon Ellie's head. Is there some headgear missing? Said Till. Till's words gave Lucica a sudden epiphany. Go and prepare the best and most expensive headdress immediately. That's when the messenger seized the moment to speak. This young lady will definitely look beautiful if she wears a bow tie. The messenger thought as he spoke. You should have noticed me by now. But Lucica ignored him perfectly. Right, Till, go buy all the bows right away. Remember to get the biggest kind. Never mind, it's better if I pick it out myself. With that, Lucica was about to hug Ellie and leave. 10,000 alpacas were running wild through Ellie's head at that moment. Big brother, can't you seriously discuss the matter of the princess with the messenger? The messenger was also stunned. The matter is not yet finished talking about it, hey. Lucica stopped in her tracks at that. Oh, I forgot. Then he opened his lips. The originally gentle eyes were filled with anger. Right now Ellie is the most important thing. Sure enough, men who are daughter slaves are not easy to mess with. With Lucica's careful selection, Ellie puts on a bow bigger than her head. It's ugly and ugly. As she said this, she threw the bow aside casually. If I continue to deal with this guy, the world will surely be extinct. Teo seemed to see what was on Ellie's mind, and he spoke with a respectful face. I'll stand firmly by your side no matter what Miss wants to do afterward. Mississippi, Ellie will be guarded by me. Ellie felt so warmed by these words, but Ellie felt a little guilty. After all, her ultimate goal is to kill Teo's master. But she still sends Teo a bright smile. Thank you, Teo. Unexpectedly, at this moment, the closed door was kicked open with a bang. Without saying a word, Lucica had Teo hauled off. How dare you steal Ellie's smile? You are guilty of theft. Is this guy crazy? Ellie instantly freaked out. Get out, all of you. As she said this, she locked Lucica and the others out. Till awkwardly explained, maybe Ellie is hitting puberty. Lucica thought with a shocked look on his face. Puberty? Is that the name of the disease? No. I can't let Ellie get sick. So he went to Ellie's room again at night to check on her health. He didn't expect the sleeping girl to suddenly frown. It turns out Ellie had a nightmare. She dreamed of the brutal moments when she was abused by Lucica and the others. When she opened her eyes, she realized that she was snuggled in Lucica's warm embrace. At the same time, a gentle voice rang in her ears. Dear, don't cry. Ellie was in deep doubt. Why does Lucica have that heartbroken look on his face? Is it because he loves her? But she is obviously not Lucica's biological child. Just as she was puzzled, Bihan suddenly pushed open the door to the room and burst in. Said, Dear baby, do you miss me? Ellie wanted to throw them all out. Then Lucica walked in with dark circles under his eyes. His first words were concerned about her health. At his command, a group of doctors stood in front of Ellie in unison. What the hell is he up to now? Ellie just felt exhausted. I saw that you weren't feeling well last night, so I called all the good doctors over to see you with a disease called puberty. Everyone felt speechless at Lucica's words. Isn't this guy a fool? All Ellie wanted to do at the moment was hammer Lucica in the head. Will you stop all this shit? In order to motivate the doctors, Lucica even opened his mouth in a merciful manner. The one who cures the miss gets a rich reward. At one time all the doctors wanted to cry. Which hospital would treat puberty as a disease? Bihan, the idiot, even started to threaten the doctor with a smile. No one wants to treat the young Mississippi. Do you want to die? In an instant, all the doctors began to show humility to each other, and the scene was chaotic like a group fight. On the side, Till spoke with a grim expression. Do you really think we don't know what puberty is? Then he pulled a short sword from his sleeve. You guys who ignore the Duke, let's see if I don't kill you all. Ellie panicked at once and turned to Lucica. Don't hurt innocent people. Lucica, who was beside her, came to Ellie after some contemplation and said, Are you really not uncomfortable? Looking into Lucica's crimson pupils, Ellie replied, without being condescending, no. At this reply, Lucica jerked out his hand. Is he going to beat me up? Ellie thought to herself, who knew that in the next moment, Lusika was as relieved as ever to take her whole in his arms. Even his voice carried a hint of trembling. Great, if you're in pain, I don't know what I'm going to do. Is this the she misheard? The great demon Lusika, who had killed her thousands of times, was actually saying such gentle words at this moment. Ellie's whole being was in a state of conflict. Suddenly her body was out of control and she used magic to push Lusika away from her. For a moment the whole house was silent. Even Ellie herself was unconsciously frozen. Just because of such a small thing, she actually exposed the secret of having magical power. This is really over, she thought to herself. Ellie's behavior was completely beyond everyone's expectations. Lusika was also in deep doubt. Could Ellie really be a spy sent by Kaeha? Looking at the ugly and cute picture on the table, Lusika unconsciously frowned. They were discussing in detail in the room whether Ellie was a spy. Ellie eavesdropped on their conversation outside the door. Damn, can't hear anything at all. The only good news is that they didn't kill her right away. Things may still be able to turn around. It seems she can only use the trick of being cute. With that thought she pushed the door open violently, shivering as she walked over to Lusika and said, Daddy, I dreamed that you got hurt trying to protect me. I'm so afraid you leave me by accident. I'm sorry, Dad. Her words really made Lusika drop his guard, but he was still unsatisfied and pressed. What else? Why is this guy so troublesome? Ellie greeted Lusika's ancestors for 18 generations in her mind, but on the surface, she pulled out a smile with difficulty and continued, I like Daddy the most. After hearing the answer he wanted, Lusika stopped making things difficult for her. They came into the conference room and Ellie marked the location of the little yellow snake on the map. If you give this to the princess as a gift, she will definitely be very happy. At this moment, Rokarden spoke worriedly. Kroik is crusading against this area. If we meet up with them, I'm afraid it's a bit dangerous. Till and the others immediately and arrogantly said, just kill them. Why do these people just keep killing people? She can't let that group die. Ellie thought to herself. Ellie said with a long sigh, it doesn't have to be so bloody. Then she marked another road on the map. This path avoids the enemy perfectly. Watching Ellie's wisdom at such a young age, Lusika, the old father, couldn't help but be a little proud. Not bad for my daughter, Ellie said with a wicked smile on her lips. According to the precognitive dream, I too must go to the land of Rohan. As soon as she finished speaking, she was instantly opposed by everyone. How is this allowed? But the father who loves his daughter said, it doesn't matter, I will go with my little treasure anyway. The others chimed in that case, we must surely follow as well. That's not okay, Ellie thought to herself as she said anxiously, I have a problem with that. I'm going with Bihan. It's better to go with a fool than with everyone. Poor Bihan, he thought he was so charming. Seeing that people are hesitant to make a decision, Rokarden offered a wise solution, to be fair, why don't you guys vote? Good idea, they said. For a split second, Ellie almost became a statue. It's a good thing the vote didn't disappoint her. Bihan won the right to accompany with 8 votes, leaving a shocked Lusika frozen in place at a loss for words. He can't believe he didn't have a single vote. Back in her room, Ellie started packing without stopping. She was very happy, unexpectedly, that this life after rebirth would go so smoothly. Suddenly Teo told her, Miss, the carriage seems to have gone. Ellie was so scared she started sprinting 100 meters. Bihan, you idiot, I haven't gotten in the car yet. Unexpectedly, Lusika suddenly blocked the middle of the road with a serious face. Pick me or pick Bihan? Ellie's brain went down for a second, and with it, a lot of anger. How long is this guy going to get in her way? She started yelling angrily, get out of my way right now, right now. Lusika didn't expect Ellie's attitude to be so tough. When he was about to get angry, Teo's voice suddenly sounded, and he was shaking all over, as if he had made a lot of determination. Duke, I want to tell you a secret. Actually, Miss has been planning this matter for a long time. She wanted to give you a gift to show her appreciation. She heard that there are many rare treasures in the land of Rohan. That's why she wanted to go and pick out a gift for you herself. Teo's words successfully dispelled Lusika's anger. His daughter is really sensible. This matter has finally been resolved satisfactorily. But what made her speechless was that Alec was also in the car. Bean explained that Alec was very powerful and a good bodyguard. On the sidelines, Teo fell into deep self-doubt. So he was just a translator all along? Ellie noticed his despondent mood and immediately took his hand and said, let's go, Teo. This action gave Teo invisible power. He must find an opportunity to show his worth. They set out happily for Rohan. Because he left in a hurry, Teo forgot to bring food. Alex said solicitously, handing over a piece of bread. Eat this, Mississippi. His hypocritical appearance made Ellie couldn't help but complain in her heart. This guy is really pretending to be respectful in front of Bihan. Suddenly there was a pleasant singing from outside the carriage. Ellie stretched her head and looked out of the car. The man who sang was Ranko, an important intelligence agent she had worked with in her previous life. It seems that she can get information without the help of Thousand Miles pupils. In order to successfully recruit Ranko for her own use, Ellie generously threw a bag of gold coins. I don't have anything else but a lot of money. This move made Ranko thank her again and again. Unexpectedly, Ellie's generosity attracted the attention of Ranko, who planned to kidnap her in the middle of the night. Ellie, who hadn't realized the danger was approaching, started to get a stomach ache. Didn't know if it was because of the sandwich she ate, She was pale and had diarrhea all day, but her stomach is still upset. Seeing this, Bihan immediately went out to find medicine for her. If anything happens to Ellie, Lysica would have skinned him. Ellie hadn't been down for more than 2 seconds when her stomach began to flip again. She trudged toward the bathroom, but she didn't expect Alec to walk out with a wicked grin on his face. "Miss, you seem to be in a lot of pain?" Ellie didn't have to think twice. He must have put laxatives in the sandwich. Ellie was so angry that she trembled all over and said, "I will seek revenge on you when I recover." As she said this, she staggered towards the bathroom. But she didn't expect that she just touched the door handle. Alec then suddenly stepped in front of the door, with a wicked smile at the corner of his mouth. "Does this guy want to die?" Ellie thought angrily. In a flash, Ellie roared in anger, "Get out of my way now." Didn't expect that Alec to be more arrogant instead. "What's the matter, miss? You're in a hurry." Can't believe Alec did this to her when Bihan wasn't around. Ellie was so angry that she clenched her fists in death. "When my body recovers, I will definitely make you suffer." Teo on the side walked over with a gloomy face. "Alec, how dare you be so rude to miss?" Those words seemed to open the door to Alec's jealousy. He snarled as he grabbed Teo by the collar. "You've been around the fake miss for a few years, so you've become arrogant, right? You're nothing but a lowly barbarian. Who are you to tell me what to do?" For a moment Teo's mind ran with a buzz. Countless memories flooded into his mind like a tidal wave. During the days when he was wandering, those vicious people also mocked and bullied him in this way. He began to shiver uncontrollably at the thought. Then he punched Alec in the face. May didn't expect Teo to make a move. Alec was stunned for a second, then he quickly hit back. The two of them were just fighting in front of the restroom. Ellie, who was weak, had a stomachache that was killing her. Can't they fight somewhere else? Just as the two of them were fighting fiercely, a figure slipped in through the window and instantly the whole room was filled with psychedelic smoke. When the smoke dissipated, Teo and Alec were surprised to find that Ellie was missing. Someone dared to kidnap a child in front of them. The two men immediately grabbed their weapons and went after them. The sheer speed with they so struck a chord in Ronco's mind. Who the hell are these two guys? They breathed his sleep gas and they were still able to catch up. The pace of Ronco's feet also began to unconsciously accelerate. Ellie, who was trapped under his armpit, felt dizzy and wanted to vomit. At this time, Alec, who was in excellent physical condition, had already caught up with him. "It seems that this girl is quite valuable," Ronco said. "That bastard," Alec retorted. "She doesn't know how to do anything but eat and drink." With that, Alec leapt into the air with his sword. While attacking, he asked Ellie for reward. "Miss Waste, you have to thank me for saving your life." Just as he was about to kill the robber grabbed Ellie and blocked her in front of him. The violent shaking made Ellie, who was already feeling uncomfortable, vomit. Countless rainbow-colored vomit just sprayed in Alec's face. Ellie was stunned. She felt so humiliated and ashamed. The robber seized the moment to continue his escape. Ellie fell into deep doubt at this moment. She remembers that in her last life, Ronco wasn't this hard to deal with. Just then, Cheetah Prince grabbed the robber. The good news is that the robber was caught and fell to the ground. The bad news is that he grabbed the robber's pants. Suddenly, a white butt appeared in Alec's sight. The corners of Alec's mouth twitched, and he really wanted to wash his eyes out. The next moment his face hit the white ass without warning. It was an awkward moment. The embarrassed and angry robber immediately turned around and slapped Alec on the face. He said to Alec, "You rascal, hurry up and let go." Alec leapt up in a rage, cursing, "How dare you hit me in the face, you bastard. Not even Master Bihan has ever done that to me." With that, he knocked the robber to his knees. They haven't had 2 seconds to be happy. The robber's accomplice actually came after him with gun. They said, "If you don't want this little guy to die, put down your weapon now." Damn it. Alec had to grit his teeth and lower his sword. But he underestimated how brazen the robbers were. Alec had just raised his hands when the robber stabbed him in the stomach with a sword. Teo, who had arrived late, was stunned and stared in amazement, although he tried his best to chase the robbers along the way, but still can't catch up with the physically strong Alec. His physical strength has even been overdrawn, but now he saw Alec being stabbed with a sword in front of his eyes. Teo still can't stop worrying. He was about to go up and save Alec, but he didn't expect the robbers to open fire. The bullet slammed through Teo's chest. What was happening in front of her was completely unexpected. They can't die, Ellie thought to herself. In an instant, Ellie's body glowed blue. Even the tone of her voice was colder than it had ever been. "Watch this. This is what I call real pain." There was a roar of thunder all around them. In the next second, a pillar of blue light fell from the sky. The robber was almost chopped into pieces by this huge energy. Alec and Teo were in shock at the moment. Is this powerful girl in front of them still their young miss who is too weak to take care of herself? Ellie said with an indifferent clap of her hands. "You should be glad I didn't kill you." She ignored the 3 people's struggle and hurried to Teo and the others. When they sat down, Ellie began to cast healing magic to heal them. In just 2.5 seconds, the 2 men who had been seriously injured miraculously recovered. Alec looked at Ellie with disbelief in his eyes. The young miss he thought was a waste of space actually knew both attack and healing magic. Even her magic level is a high level 5. How can a 7-year-old be so good at this? All Ellie could think about was the injury on Teo's leg. He has gone to this extent for her. It would be a lie to say that she is not moved. At this point, the robbers started yakking behind they again. It's so annoying, Ellie thought to herself. Ellie waved her hand and turned the 3 people into strange monsters. It's morphing magic. Alec was like a thunderbolt at this moment. He actually provoked Ellie before. How audacious. Ellie finished treating the injuries of the 2 before coming to the robbers again. She said, "If you don't want to die, sign the oath brand for me obediently. Once the future is unfaithful to me, your souls will simply shatter." That's some wicked magic. The robber cursed angrily. One of the robbers wanted to resist. Ellie had him under control with just one finger. She spoke with an icy expression. "I told you. You should be glad I didn't kill you." One of the robbers immediately realized the situation and started to swear. A bright butterfly immediately appeared on his hand. Ellie then showed a satisfied smile. Although the process of conquering Renko was somewhat unexpected, but at least the result was satisfactory. And these robbers don't seem to have a good head on their shoulders. She was just using the pupil seal magic she had created. Can summon and observe her imprinted subjects at any time. After she took the robbers under her wing, Ellie turned to look at Teo and Alec. Unexpectedly, Alec was already shaking with fear. He thought his young miss was too scary. Ellie said sincerely as she came to them, "Don't you guys ever get hurt again. I appreciate you fighting for me. But more than anything, I want you to value yourselves." Her words hit the softest spot in Alec's heart. No one had ever said anything so heartwarming to him. His prejudice against Ellie vanished into thin air at this moment. Bean-sized teardrops ran down Alec's cheeks. He said, "Thank you, Mississippi." As soon as she spoke, the dragon egg in Ellie's hand actually exploded with dazzling light. Then the dragon's egg turned pure blue. Is the egg about to hatch? Ellie was curious. She was forced to be kissed by a dinosaur egg just because she was so cute. A sausage mouth on a dinosaur egg scared the shit out of her. She opened her eyes after screaming as hard as she could, only to realize it was a dream. And the culprit of her nightmare was the man who was going to take away her good morning kiss, Bihan. "Get the fuck out of here, you bastard," Ellie said angrily. Ellie was so angry that she picked up a pillow and threw it at him. Narcissist Bihan, however, thinks Ellie is showing that she likes him. Ellie froze instantly. She's never met anyone with such a thick skin. At that moment, Teo and Alec walked up to them in their chef's uniforms. "Miss, breakfast is ready." The 2 men then respectfully presented the potato soup. Looking at Alec, who was a different person from before, Ellie's heart was filled with infinite emotions. Sure enough, sincerity is the ultimate skill. She told Teo and Alec to keep it a secret about last night. If they tell, Bihang won't let them go. And she also asked Alec to move to the Duke's mansion after his journey. This series of maneuvers directly conquered Alec perfectly. Even he vowed to be more loyal than Teo in the future. They ate and drank, and then set off again. After all, apart from the main task of rescuing the little yellow snake, they have the secondary task of buying Lysica a gift. And at that moment, Lysica was staring blankly at Ellie's portrait. "I should go with my baby girl," he thought to himself, seeing that Lysica missed his daughter so much. Warren was very discerning and handed over a wooden sculpture that looked like Ellie. Compared to the ugly portrait Lysica was staring at, Warren's wood carvings, on the other hand, look much better. Lysica's eyes instantly lit up and said, "It's beautiful." So wherever he went, he took the wooden sculpture of Ellie and looked at it carefully. When he came to the garden, he began to think of Ellie again. A maid suddenly appeared behind him and attacked him. The extremely perceptive Lysica pinned the maid's entire body in the air with just a single glance. He said, "A mere child of a few hundred years of age dares to come and kill me. It seems I'm over the hill too." As soon as he finished speaking, the maid opened her eyes wide and died unwillingly. And for ease Lysica's pining for his daughter. Warren even carved a huge bronze statue of Ellie. Barbacha couldn't help but mock. This bronze statue and their lovely, beautiful young miss cannot be said to be identical. Only say it's irrelevant. Even Lysica couldn't resist telling Warren not to keep sculpting bronze statue. The magical raven on the side couldn't resist volunteering. "Why don't you let me try?" But Lysica told it not to mess around. It would be better to use this time to clean up those who disobey Lysica. On receiving the order, the crow immediately flew away. Looking at the magical raven, Warren's thoughts were drawn back to a long time ago. When Lysica wanted to leave the demon world, she was opposed by the crowd. Everyone says, if Lysica must abandon a world, then why not abandon the human world? At that time, Warren said with cold eyes, the Duke has also abandoned the human world. Meanwhile, Ellie and the others are getting ready to buy a gift for Lysica. As soon as they walked down the street, a beautiful flower ring caught Ellie's attention. Her lover in her previous life also gave her such a gift. Unconsciously tears seeped from the corners of her eyes at this thought. In this life, she will definitely succeed in protecting her lover. When she was about to leave, from her feet came a sudden weak voice. Please, help me. Ellie looked down, saw a girl in tattered clothes dying and kneeling on the ground. The next second she couldn't hold on and fell to the ground. Perhaps she remembered her past self. Ellie immediately brought a pile of bread and handed it to the girl. Watching Ellie saving others, Eric couldn't help but let out an exclamation. You and the Duke are so much alike, Mississippi. Unexpectedly Ellie to get angry right away, like a kitten with its fur standing on end. I'm not like him, said Ellie angrily. Her violent reaction shocked everyone. It seems Miss hates to be associated with the Duke, but you two are really alike. This is also how Lusica saved Masha. Ellie's eyes were full of disbelief. How is this possible? In her eyes, Lusica was a murderous demon. Suddenly, she had an image of Lusica holding her. Did I really misunderstand him? Thought Ellie. She hadn't recovered from the shock. The well-fed girl then tugged on her coat tails. Then the girl handed over a crystal-clear pendant as a token of her appreciation. The dinosaur egg in Ellie's hand glowed again. Why it glows? Ellie was a little puzzled. Before she could think clearly, Bihan began to urge again, so they continued their journey to Rohan. As soon as they arrived at the land of Rohan, they encountered a cute green monster. Alec beat it easily with just one move. But Teo was trembling, and it took a lot of effort to kill the green monster. His strength is still too weak after all. Bihan smiled and said that he wanted to throw Teo away and let Alec be Ellie's auxiliary officer. This sentence seemed to touch Ellie's reverse scale. She kept slapping Bihan with her hands. If you dare to replace Teo with someone else, I will scratch you to death. Suddenly she froze her hand in midair again. Do these guys really save lives? She must ask Masha in person when she returns. Just as they were about to move on, suddenly there was a rumble of horses' hooves up ahead. A bad feeling came over Ellie. Hope the people who come are not the Kramer family. She prayed in her heart, but the more you fear something, the more it will come. Duke Nobbed of Kramer appeared in front of the three people with a large group of troops, at the same time questioning why they were trespassing in the land of Rohan. It is well known that the Brandt family is not qualified to enter the land of Rohan privately. Bihan politely dismounted, stating that they just wanted to go to the rifts to look for something. But Nobbed was extremely dissatisfied. In their eyes, the Brandts, for all their power, were very poorly mannered and educated. They are completely opposite to the gentlemanly and polite Kramer. His eyes were filled with contempt and anger, and said, It is unforgivable that you barbarians would try to break the rules and trespass into the land of Rohan. Nobbed's remark enraged Bihan, and his body began to emit magic. Seeing that the two were about to fight, Ellie rushed over to them. She politely curtsied to Nobbed and said, Greetings, I am Ellie, daughter of Lusica. Her cute and well-behaved appearance directly adorable everyone's heart. Even Bihan, who was just getting ready to fight, couldn't help but say proudly, Mrs. recognized for her beauty. Brother, can you please pay attention to the occasion when you speak? Ellie glared at Bihan angrily. Ellie then explained the reason for their visit. We had no choice but to come here to look for some medicines because of my father's illness. It's an emergency. She'll have to sacrifice Lusica. Due to Ellie's beauty and polite manners, Nobbed finally decided to let them go. Still, he didn't forget the serious warning, never again. After solving this matter, Ellie breathed a sigh of relief. Although the Brandt family is powerful, it is the Kramer family who is most trusted by the Emperor, and they are not to be underestimated. With Nobbed and his team as guides, Ellie and the others began to search for the little yellow snake with great difficulty. The hot sun overhead was making her drowsy. Her mind gradually became less clear. I seem to have a bit of a fever, Ellie thought to herself. Nobbed on the side introduced them eloquently. You must be extremely careful when entering the land of Rohan, because the rifts appear randomly. Their entrances and exits are not in the same location. We can only rely on the flow of air to roughly determine the location of the entrance and exit. Once you're in the rifts, it's hard to get out. At that moment, a purple aura sprouted from beneath Ellie and Teo's feet. Nobbed immediately taught on the spot. Look, the rifts look like this. Hey, something doesn't seem right? Before a few people could react, Ellie fell in without warning. Seeing this scene, Bihan was almost crazy, and his body instantly burst out with destructive magic power. In an instant, the mountains crumbled and rocks flew up in chaos. But there's still nothing he can do. Nobbed on the side was shocked. The magic power that this person unleashes unconsciously is actually so strong. It seems the Brandt family is not to be underestimated. After calming down, he reassured Bihan. Although the entrances and exits of the rifts are random, we can try to enter through other rifts. Bihan turned around immediately at his words. No matter what, he's gonna find Ellie. Meanwhile, Ellie slowly wakes up to Teo's concern. The scene before her shocked her. There are countless man-eating spiders in the dimly lit space. It's even a few times bigger than a human. Seeing that Teo is about to be attacked by a spider, Ellie surged in front of him, her palms instantly lighting up red. Domi Boombra. She chanted the spell skillfully. The man-eating spider was instantly enveloped in flames. The next moment, they're all charred. Teo was frozen in fear by such a strong attack from her. Miss knows level 6 magic. Ellie, who had run out of strength, felt physically and mentally exhausted. Level 6 magic was already the limit of this reborn body. To make matters worse, she's just been attacked by a spider in the abdomen. The damn spider is poisonous. Fuck. Her body has no resistance to poison at all. She weakly knelt down and looked around. The only blessing was that this rift was similar to the ones she had encountered in her previous lives. Suddenly a little yellow snake appears. Wasn't this little snake the purpose of their trip? The little snake looked at them, wriggling anxiously. Teo explains, it's like it's asking for help. Ellie's heart burst with joy. She wanted to save the little snake and leave, but she didn't expect the poison to suddenly spread. She fell limply to the ground. Watching his most cherished miss in danger, Teo was in an endless panic. He must save the miss. The little yellow snake on the side took the opportunity to speak. Hey, human. I'll help you revive her if you get me out of here. Teo didn't have time now to wonder if the little yellow snake was lying to him. Nothing is more important to him than the life of the miss. He immediately removed the rock that was pressing on the snake and was about to let it fulfill its promise to save people. But the snake went back on its word and slipped away with a whoosh. Stupid human. The little snake taunted. Miss is in critical condition. He can't delay any longer. Teo rushed forward and grabbed it tightly. Furious, the little snake launches an attack and bites Teo on the neck. You guy, hurry up and let go of me. See if I don't bite you into a skeleton. Little Snake said angrily. The ripping sensation in his bones made Teo gasp for air. But even so, his hand still held the little snake tightly. Please, save the Mississippi. He pleaded to the little snake. In those dark days, it was the miss who gave him warmth and love. The miss was all he had. In an instant, Teo violently erupted with intense energy. In the next second, these energies wrapped the little snake tightly, and the little snake's body gradually lost control of itself. Teo's pupils turned from black to green as he gritted his teeth and squeezed out 2 words. Save her. Just hearing this sentence, the little snake crawled towards Ellie uncontrollably. Legend has it that only a master manipulator can tame beast. Teo breathed a sigh of relief when he saw that the snake was obedient. Although he didn't know why it obeyed, at least the miss was saved. Soon Teo was greeted with a backlash of magic. His body was gradually disintegrated by the magic, close to the edge of collapse. The little snake's control is lifted at this moment. It's excited to get away again, but the dragon egg suddenly caught its attention. Why is there such a powerful aura on this egg? It broke out in an involuntary cold sweat. A horrible thought came to its mind. Could this little girl be the owner of that dragon egg? It immediately changed its mind about running away and turned around and opened its bloody mouth towards Ellie. Teo saw this and gripped it and said, "Don't you try to harm the miss." The little snake was very anxious. I am saving her. Teo's body had already reached its limit, and eventually he couldn't hold on and passed out. But even so, he kept holding on to the snake. Ellie looked over to Teo, who was lying beside her, and her tears fell involuntarily. The lover in her previous life also told her to live on before he died. In this life, she will never let anyone around her die again. Ellie put her hand on Teo's hand with all her strength and gave Teo all her magic. And then she accepts death with equanimity. Shortly after Ellie disappeared, Nob took Bihan to the rift. The rift are full of unpredictable dangers. Bihan walked in without hesitation. In order to minimize unnecessary battles, Nob had installed a movement stone in advance that could release light waves to repel monsters. Just as they were about to set off into the rift, a giant centipede rushed out. Luckily, the centipedes can't hurt them because of the protective shield. But Bihan walked out with determination. Nothing will stop him from rescuing the miss. Without relying on any magic equipment, he actually used level 7 magic directly. The giant centipede became a small kalami in his hands. Meanwhile, Ellie enters a strange dimension. A man said to her, "Bliss, go back. It's not time for you to die yet. Go back and get Lysica." Halfway through his words, Ellie was pushed out the dimension by a large hand before she could hear the rest of it. When she suddenly opened her eyes again, the pain in her body had disappeared without a trace. She immediately turned to look at Teo and started to get nervous again. He had just forced open the magic space, and now his body was overloaded. Just when Ellie didn't know what to do, the boulder above her head shook violently. When the rock was about to fall on her and Teo's heads, Bihan suddenly appeared out of nowhere like Ultraman. "Ellie, brother is here. Do you believe in the light?" said Bihan. Ellie felt instantly reassured. It was the first time she was happy for Bihan's appearance. Nob ordered at this moment, "Protect the children." Then he opened a huge golden light formation. The rift was about to explode, and Bihan saw it and immediately grabbed Ellie. Bihan is ready to leave with Ellie. Ellie shouted angrily at Bihan, "Take Teo with us. He's the one who saved me." Hearing Alec yell that there was no time, he hurriedly picked up the two and rushed outside. With the combined efforts of the group, they managed to leave the rift. Teo also successfully saved his life under Nob's treatment. They were politely preparing to say goodbye to each other. Nob looked at the small yellow snake in the cage and asked, "Is this the medicine your father needs?" Ellie's mouth twitched and she started to lie. "That's right." But then Lysica's magic crow suddenly brought a magic stone. When opened the magic stone, it was a real-life projection of Lysica. He roared with full force, "When will you come back?" Ellie was dumbfounded. This idiot doesn't look like he's seriously ill at all. Teo quickly came out to smooth things over. The Duke has been ill and bedridden for a long time, so it's inevitable that he is a little irritable. Well, that's enough lies. Ellie never wants to see Nobed again in her life. They embarked on the journey back to the home. Who knew that the dragon egg had actually shattered? They spent all their money building Ellie a statue of gold. As soon as Ellie stepped into the country, she was blinded by the bright statue of herself. She was just traveling for a few days. The father, who is a daughter slave, makes such a big fuss. The two idiot brothers hugged her and wouldn't let go. Until Lysica appeared, he hugged Ellie tightly and said, "Welcome back. I missed you." Ellie didn't avoid his hug this time. Alex said that Lysica saved Masha, so maybe he didn't mean to destroy the world. Lysica handed Ellie a gift, which he had prepared with great care. Ellie froze momentarily. "What's that thing drawn on the paper?" "It's you," Bar explained. "It's royal stationery." Ellie froze instantly. On the back of the paper was an invitation to Princess Lena's birthday dance party. There are only 5 days left until the dance. When visiting the royal family in previous years, Lysica always refused on the grounds that his daughter was more important. Ellie barked out an order. "Pack your bags right now. Let's get going." She had everything ready immediately. Without understanding, Ball asked, "There are 5 days left. There's no rush." Ellie angrily retorted to him, "It's a 15-day journey to the palace." Till asked her to pack her clothes. "This is basic etiquette." Ellie complained speechlessly. "Do you still have etiquette in your eyes? You've crumpled the royal letters into a ball of garbage." At that moment there was a succession of grunts, and the two little followers' hungry stomachs growled. Lysica also sulkily skimmed his lips and asked, "Where's the present for Daddy?" Ellie had to walk back to the Duke's mansion with a snake and 3 chickens. At night, Lysica patted his daughter to sleep. "Are you happy sleeping with Daddy? It seems like yesterday that you fell asleep in Daddy's arms when you were little. Now you can travel without Dad." Before leaving, Ellie said she was traveling to find a gift for Dad. But in fact, she didn't prepare any gifts at all, but to catch a yellow snake to present to the princess. Just as she was worrying about what to get Lysica as a gift, Lysica called her name softly. "Eleanor, I love you. Good night." She widened her blood-colored pupils. What kept coming back to her mind was the image of the Demon King killing her lover in her previous life. The necklace she wore buzzed. The next day she finally met her favorite nanny. Masha is the only sane person in this family. Masha scrutinized every part of Ellie's body for fear of bumps and bruises. Masha said with heartache in her eyes, "You've lost a lot of weight, Mississippi. I heard you went to the land of Rohan, and thankfully you returned safely." Look at Masha, who's still so gentle. To confirm what Alex said, Ellie asked her bluntly, "Did Daddy ever save you?" On the other side, the little yellow snake was dressed up in a fancy dress. The idiot duo complained, "Super disgusting." Stupid Bihan snapped his fingers and said, "I'll show you my handiwork." In the next second, the little yellow snake turned into a baby waiting to be fed. For idiots are trying to figure out how to win the heart of the princess. Michaela questioned the fool Bihan, "How dare you be stubborn with me when you bring Ellie back so late? This time you behave yourself and keep the home. I'll take the miss out." Bar ignored them and laughed at the little yellow snake. "It looks so ugly. Does the princess really like this thing?" By now, Lysica had finished dressing, and the 3 of them almost turned gay when they took a look at his. The little yellow snake's heartbeat quickened and its cheeks turned red too. The first thing the man says is, "Where is his baby daughter?" Little did he know that Ellie was in confusion. Unexpectedly, Masha's words had such a big impact on the miss. Little Yellow Hair ran to care for Ellie, looking to the left and to the right. Ellie thought back to Masha's words. Masha said, her father was addicted to gambling at the time. Because of her poverty, she survived by doing needlework, but nowhere near enough to fill the astronomical debt owed by her father. Afterward her father sold her to the wicked nobility. Good thing Lysica took her in. So to her, Lysica is the redeemer. Ellie couldn't understand. Then why did Lysica want to destroy the world? She snapped back to the fact that the reason Lysica destroyed the world was because of the betrayal of the Princess Lena. What has Princess Lena done that would make Lysica angry enough to destroy the world? I must know the reason. Ellie made up her mind silently. She activated the sound transmission magic and used the mark she left behind to contact Ranko in the distance. The trio of robbers protested, "Don't we have human rights?" Ellie stated her purpose of looking for them. She wanted to entrust them with asking for information about the princess. She'll pay them handsomely afterward, but only give them 2 days. If they can't meet the deadline, she will kill them. Suddenly there was a clunk and 2 idiots burst into the bedroom excitedly. "Found you, look." Ellie turned around at the sound of the voice and stared incredulously at the doorway. She completely ignored her daddy, who was wearing a paternity suit with her. Instead, she locked her eyes on the little yellow snake. The little yellow snake's self-esteem as a male was crushed bit by them. Now think about it. Why would the young princess choose a snake? Ellie fell into thought. Seeing that she was too immersed in her thoughts, Lysica looked disappointed and sad. "You like snakes more than you like Daddy, and you don't even give me a gift." He's been thinking about the gift for 2 days and 2 nights. Ellie casually yanked the necklace off her neck. "Here." Lysica immediately took it in his hands as a treasure. A group of idiots were surrounding and drooling with envy. Only the 2 little followers knew the truth. It was given by a beggar. Lysica stretched his hand out to her. He picked up Ellie's little body, smiled gently and said, "Let's go to the palace." Before left home, the idiot Biham was clamoring for a picture and he wanted other poses. Ellie was speechless. Bihan was more like a child than her. This time it was really the last photo. Warren snapped his fingers, and a family photo appeared out of thin air the next second. The stupid Bihan was not convinced. He also wanted to accompany the miss to the palace. Even Alec and Teo can go along. Why am I the only one who can't? Bihan asked sadly. Ellie explained, that's her person. Bihan patted his huge chest and said, what about me? Am I not Ellie's brother? He jumped up and down in anger and said, my duke, take me with you. I want to go too. Ellie suddenly admired Bihan. This guy has almost annihilated all the monsters we encountered, and now he actually has this much energy left. It's better to divide such a brother among the writer's fans. As soon as they got in the car, Bihan kept banging on the window and crying, how can I live without you, Ellie? And two idiots childishly fought for the seat next to Ellie. Ellie had designated Teo to sit next to her, as he was her auxiliary officer. Bar asked a fatal question. He is a barbarian and cannot enter the palace, right? The insufferable Ellie launched into a rage. Teo has the qualifications of a manipulator. The royal family can't treat him casually. Michaela suggested that Teo perform live, and it just so happened that there was an experimental snake here. Teo recalled the scene at that time. At that time, his mind was full of thoughts of saving the miss. But Ellie stopped him. Not yet. Use manipulation without training and you'll probably go berserk. She turned to Michaela and said, are you doubting me? It's so disappointing to me. Michaela hastily apologized. After all, manipulators are so rare that I wanted to see one. The highest level of manipulation is mental manipulation, and everyone fears and covets it. Teo, sit over here. You're my auxiliary officer and have to be around to help me, Ellie said to Teo. Michaela and Warren and Bar were dumbfounded. The three speak in unison. Eleanor, what about me? Where do I sit? After a while, Lucica softly woke up his daughter who had fallen asleep and was drooling. Eleanor, it's time to get up. We're at Rodberg. She sat up and looked out the window, her face full of happiness that she had finally reached the capital of the empire. And Lucica's eyes kept falling on Ellie. She sighed in her heart. The capital is still as beautiful as it was in my previous life. She hasn't been to the capital for a long time. In several reincarnations, she even became the magician of the magic tower. Alec was amazed at the prosperity of the empire. But this is just the tip of the iceberg of empire. The really interesting part is on Artisan Street. No matter what profession can get the best weapons here. There are several shops that have dwarves secretly, and their craftsmanship is truly divine. She will definitely find a weapon to assist in Teo's manipulation skill. Daddy, I want money. Lots and lots of money. Ellie pouted at Lucica. She'd expected Lucica to say yes without hesitation, but instead she'd gotten a no. In order to make the gold statue bigger, they used up all the gold coins they had by dissolving them. The funds for this trip were taken from the captain's private savings. Ellie was close to breaking down. Damn it. What do I do? Go steal it. At that moment a splendid carriage drew up in front of them. It's Grand Duke Hollander, the man with a mouth full of gold teeth. Using his thin body that could collapse in the wind, he defiantly provoked the contemporary Demon King. But surprisingly, they, who were originally proud, bowed their heads and saluted. The man's arrogant attitude was the same as in his previous life. Having a child without getting married, I understand your desire to be a playboy, but I advise you not to have affairs with women casually. Perhaps, even the lifeline that has been maintained with great difficulty will be cut off. Ellie thought with forced anger. Why is she so angry that she even wants to kill the man? A childish voice from the carriage broke the silence. Dad, didn't you say you would take me to the toy store? Why are you wasting time on them? So it looks like you're the rumored illegitimate child? She asked, looking over at Ellie. Ellie glared at her angrily, thinking to herself that she would never bow down and curtsy to this father and daughter. The next second, the girl raised her hand high, wanting to slap Ellie, and said, you are completely uneducated. Seeing that a slap was about to fall on Ellie's face, Lucica stopped her in time. Mississippi. Roland, you have crossed the line. Roland was shaking with anger and raised her other hand to slap Lucica in the face. The idiot trio were completely stunned. Even Ellie was stunned. Dad got slapped? After dealing with the father and daughter, Roland left. Ellie went crazy and wanted to curse. You guys. Before she could even utter a curse, Bar stopped her. Eleanor, bear down. There are many eyes watching. Ellie couldn't understand. Why should I endure it? They slapped Dad for no reason. We should hit they back. Don't you have the power to destroy the world? Why do you have to swallow your anger? Bar almost let it slip, because the Duke has something he is looking for. Ellie felt inexplicably distressed, and she put ice on Lucica's face to help reduce the swelling. The idiot Dad smiled and thought to himself, if I had known that a slap would make Eleanor so worried, I should have been slapped on the other side of my face by her as well.